Facebook knew it was being used to incite violence in Ethiopia. It did little to stop the spread, documents show.
Here's a summary of the article.
They show employees warning managers about how Facebook was being used by problematic actors, including states and foreign organizations, to spread hate speech and content inciting violence in Ethiopia and other developing countries, where its user base is large and growing. The Facebook documents also detail the platform's removal of a cluster of accounts linked to the Oromo diaspora, mostly based in Egypt, which was targeting Ethiopian audiences with highly inflammatory content, including explicit calls to violence against government officials and other ethnic groups. One insightful post highlighted in a report shared a photo of what appears to be a Molotov cocktail being lit and the statement, "Burn the whole country down." In 2018, the UN slammed Facebook's role in the Myanmar crisis, which the global body said bore the hallmarks of genocide. By promoting violence and hatred against the minority Rohingya population, the UN said Facebook had turned into a beast. The social media company later acknowledged that it didn't do enough to prevent its platform being used to fuel bloodshed, and Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg wrote an open letter apologizing to activists and promising to increase its moderation efforts. As Ethiopians began to use Facebook to engage in public debate, observers saw that the platform was being abused by a variety of actors, including politicians, to incite discrimination and violence. Given the experience in Myanmar, it was really incumbent on Facebook to do a human rights impact assessment and evaluate what they needed to do so that Facebook in Ethiopia didn't become a place for incitement to violence, Kay said, adding that he didn't know what that assessment looked like or if it was done. Researchers like Barhante say Facebook in Ethiopia is in desperate need of more content moderators, pointing to how the platform was used to stoke a wave of deadly violence after the murder of Oromo musician Hachalu Hundessa last year. A Facebook page with an INSA-affiliated administrator was also flagged in internal Facebook documents in March, but was not recommended for removal.
This post received a score of 7,600, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Facebook knew it was inciting violence in America and did nothing. Why would they care about Ethiopia?
I mean, the violence in America isn't nearly as bad as the genocide in Tigray, Ethiopia. But this isn't even Facebook's first rodeo with knowingly helping incite a genocide. They knew they were helping the Tatmadaw incite the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar and did nothing to stop it for years as well. It even tried to obstruct a genocide investigation.
Why the U.S. should call the famine and violence in Tigray a genocide. What's even more concerning is that the Ethiopian government is committing genocide on Tigrayans with the help of so many factions in Ethiopia. Please read the article to have a better idea on this war and why it's a genocide.
These companies will never be held accountable. We're in an impossible situation. The information age has produced massive problems for humanity.
Only 5% of the population has attempted suicide, but with the 5 billion internet users it's 250 million people. The percent of suicide attempts survivors who made repeat attempts was single digits in the 90s. Then in the 2000s, when most Americans had a home computer, it rose to over a third and the suicide rate increased a lot. Then the same pattern happened with teen suicide in the 2010s when teenagers had constant, private access to the internet through their own smartphones instead of a shared family desktop where anyone can walk by and see your screen. The percent of survivors making repeat attempts went from 12% in 2004 to 30% in 2013, and the suicide rate went up.
Militia groups using Facebook to organize a genocide. Where are we heading? This is so disturbing. Praying for all the victims of the Tigray genocide and hope to see it come to an end soon.
Militia groups also use Gmail and text message as well. Hopefully those companies begin clamping down as well.
Email and text message doesn't have the optimized recommendation bubble addiction.
They don't care about doing this in the US, so they certainly wouldn't have a problem doing it in Ethiopia.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but FB has zero reason to worry about what its effects are besides making money and maximizing it. The woke corporations are a new thing, I like it and approve of it, but let's not distract ourselves by losing touch with what creates corporations to begin with. Profit is hampered by social justice. The simplest resolution? Work around them. Social justice doesn't make money. It's a valueless currency.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.